I fell in love with Israel as a 17-year-old wild-eyed boy, amazed that I was actually standing in the land of the Bible. It overwhelmed me. Now I come back as a wild-eyed old man.
The United States ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, gave an incredible speech. Let's listen to the whole thing and talk about it after. Please stick around.
Mr. President and distinguished guests, to all of you, what an honor and an incredible joy it is for me to stand here in this place and to receive the welcome of the President. I want to thank my wife for being here with me today and being faithful as a wife for soon to be 51 years of marriage. As I often tell people, I know that you look at us and you say, "You don't look that old." Well, maybe you do think that. So I tell people we got married when we were about 12. And in our home state of Arkansas, that makes us late bloomers. So, Mr. President, it was 52 years ago this summer that I made my first trip to this magnificent place. I fell in love with Israel as a 17-year-old wild-eyed boy, amazed that I was actually standing in the land of the Bible. It overwhelmed me. Now I come back as a wild-eyed old man, but still with a sense of absolute joy and an overwhelming sense of awe that I'm in a land that God Himself said, "This is mine, and these are my people." I come to stand today with the state of Israel and with the Jewish people because I believe that it is not simply a geopolitical position, but a divine position. And over the 52 years that I've been coming to Israel countless times and bringing tens of thousands of people to see this magnificent land, I love to see it myself, but I love to see it through the eyes of people who are here for the first time. And I watch the emotion. I see the tears that flow because they're walking land that they have read about, that they have prayed for, that they have thought about and never imagined they would be here. I stand here today fighting back tears because I am here, not just as a visitor, but now for the next few years. Unless the President tweets something early in the morning and tells me to come home, this will be my home for the next 4 years. And Janet and I come with an extraordinary sense of awe and wonder and deep gratitude to President Trump for giving us this extraordinary privilege. I'm grateful that you acknowledged Stephanie Hallett, who has done such a superb job as the chargé. And she's gone through 3 ambassadors, a war, and she probably, now dealing with me, will say, "That's all I can take." But she's done a remarkable service to the United States of America in her capacity, and we're deeply grateful. To Miriam Adelson, who is a very dear, close friend, who probably whispered in the President's ear and said, "If you can't find anybody else to do this, you could always ask him." I never talked to him about it. I never had a conversation with him. I got a call out of the clear blue just a few days after the election. If you know President Trump, he did not say, "Would you think about going? Have you ever considered?" He simply called and said, "Mike, you're going to be my ambassador to Israel." Just as simple as that. You don't say no to him. And quite frankly, I felt it was not so much saying yes to a president. It was certainly that. But it was yes to a calling from God Himself to come and fulfill what I believe is not just a job, but a mission. And that mission is to stand with the people of Israel for peace and prosperity, to serve in a role that I pray will lead to times when the Israeli people can go to bed at night, not fearing that a siren will waken them and force them into a shelter because enemies are irrationally dedicated to destroy them. I long for the day when that young Israeli mother puts her babies to bed at night and does not fear that some harm will come upon them as they sleep, that they will rest with peace and they will continue to live with the extraordinary resilience of the Israeli people, which I've come to admire as second to none. Over these coming months, I pray that one thing we will see, and see it very soon, as you so eloquently said, Mr. President, that every hostage returns home to their family. Every hostage. Those who are alive and those deceased, but whose remains are a reminder of the dignity that they deserve to have a proper burial here in their home. There are challenges, and I share with you that concern that the Iranian regime, in all of its hostility that has been inflicted upon the world for 46 years, continues to threaten not just the peace of Israel, but the peace of the United States. And I constantly remind people that the Iranians have always said, death to Israel, and chapter 2 is death to America. It has always been their desire that Israel would be the opening act, and then it would be America's turn to face destruction. Or to put it in another simple way, Israel is the appetizer, and the United States is the entree. We care deeply, Mr. President, the threats that face Israel, because those are also the threats that face our country. When I was at the White House just a little over a week ago, the President handed me a handwritten note with a prayer for the peace of Jerusalem. My first official act upon arriving here was to take that prayer from the President and to go to the hotel and to place it there on behalf of the American people with a reminder that we stand with you, Mr. President. We stand with the people of Israel. And I always want to remind my American colleagues that we stand with Israel, first of all, because we share the values of the Bible. We share the understanding that the Judeo-Christian foundation is the foundation of all of Western civilization. Without it, there is no sense of democracy and love, appreciation, and respect for the individual. But it's also important that Americans know that while we hope to be a good friend to Israel and to provide assistance where we can, I never want Americans to think that we, Americans, are not greatly benefited by our partnership with our ally Israel. We benefit dramatically in the sharing of intelligence, in the sharing of technology, and in the sharing of agricultural innovation, which Israel has led the world in creating. So as we begin our service here, Mr. President, I want to thank you for your kindness, your hospitality. When I walked in and the national anthem of the United States was played, I must tell you, it was deeply emotional for me to hear that song in this land and to be reminded of the incredible bond that exists between Israel and the United States. On behalf of the President and the American people, I thank you for your hospitality, and I welcome the opportunity to serve my President, my country, in partnership with you toward a peace that you truly and most deservedly should have. Thank you, Mr. President.
I am waiting for a video where Hamas or the Houthi rebels or Hezbollah or the Ayatollah at the IRGC and the radical anti-Israel camp leaders come out and share the same vision of the Middle East, where we are able to have peace and prosperity and safety and coexistence and have a two-state solution. Like, at this point, I'm all about just listening to what the leaders of the world are trying to amplify through their platform and through what they believe. It's either or. You can't have both. You can't ask for peace and in order to achieve peace, also ask for violence. You can't ask for violence and claim that you're just trying to get to peace, in using violence to mask it. It's kind of the same thing. Hamas uses these circular definitions of what they're trying to achieve by doing just that. I'm waiting for these leaders. I want to see the entire political and military bureau of what has remained of Hamas to get on a stage, take off their masks, show who they are, very telling, and have the same rhetoric, have the same intention. If your goal is to destroy the relationship between Israel and America, pick another cause, pick another fight. You're wasting your time, even if you're a Republican, even if you're a Democrat, even if you're right or left. And I'll tell you right now, if Kamala Harris got elected, there would still be a very strong relationship between America and Israel. There is no world where they can't have a strong bond. There isn't none. It can't exist. It would destroy everything. Israel is that little thread. I'm going to give you guys an analogy. I tore my ACL in 2016, a ligament in my knee, a full tear. The ligament at one point was connected. There was a full tear. They had to go in and repair it, tie a knot, so my ligament is now intact. Israel is that little thread left on the ligament, and if it is destroyed, meaning it's ripped, there is no longer a bond between America and Israel, right? So Israel is that thread that is still allowing that attachment, that bond to still be together and intact. And if you destroy Israel, it's over. You can't destroy Israel, but what is left remaining of that ligament, what's left in that cartilage is so strong and so unbeatable, and it has been hanging on a thread on the end of that bone where it connects for so long. For so long, it should have been destroyed. It should have been destroyed by this point. It should have just been popped, cut. One wrong landing after I shoot a basketball, one wrong landing after a layup, one wrong, that's hard to say, hit after going up for a layup. And you never know. I actually tore my ACL because I went up for a shot and somebody hit me midair and I landed awkwardly on my knee and my knee twisted and turned and I tore my ACL. But Israel keeps landing awkwardly. Israel keeps getting hit. Israel keeps trying to get back up, and that thread is still hanging. We need to repair the thread, not just the thread itself, but the other cartilage around it to allow a full ligament to rebuild. A full ligament to be there so that every time it gets hit, it doesn't have to get up as hard. It needs to be stronger. It needs to be more robust. We need to have peace in order for that to be achieved. That is my theory. Thank you so much for all your support. See you next video. If you want to continue the conversation, you can support my work for free. Discord does not cost a thing. It is the best way to connect with me and others who are seeking the truth. The link is in the description. But if you want to take it one step further, my Patreon gives you access to the Israel you don't see, uncovering the untold stories of what mainstream media does not show you. The link is in the description and it helps me to continue this work. Or if you're just looking to help this thing go, PayPal and Buy Me a Coffee is a really easy way to support me. This channel, this work does not happen without all of you. Thank you. I love you. I'll see you next time.